Gεια, girlypops. It's Finny. I'm back with another reaction video to Miss Amberlynn Reed. And this is a reaction to her newest upload called Opening Up About Some of My BPD Symptoms, an Amazon haul, sparkly emoji vlog. All right, I think before we get into this video, we need to take a little moment and discuss the 3-hour crash out she had last night. Now I'm sitting here with my Dr. Pepper, I'm in a silly, goofy mood, having myself a good old Dr. Pepper here. And I was watching Salty Crab's breakdown because finally she released it. It was very exciting to watch because God knows I'm not about to pay Ambie $10 to watch her crash out live. Um, so just a couple of things I want to touch upon. First of all, her accusations and stuff towards Mr. Snowflake are egregious and outrageous. And it is just a pattern of behavior that Amber has with people she gets pissed off at. She accuses them of some of the worst things possible. And I think that this is part of her personality where she goes for the lowest blow she possibly can. So she kicks out those little ballet flats into someone's shin with her words, basically. And I just thought that was disgusting. Second, she refuses to respect Beck and their identity, which, as a non binary, that personally pisses me off. If it is so difficult for you to just give someone basic respect, then I don't know what to say because it's not that hard. You've been told a million times that Beck goes by Beck and uses they, them pronouns. Now, if Beck was still going by the old pronouns they used, because it used to be she, they, then that would be one thing. But Beck has come out and said explicitly that they only go by they, them. So for her to continue to disrespect just Beck as a person, just it sits so wrong with me, and it shows the lack of empathy that she has. And then, of course, we all heard that she has quit therapy yet again. She says she's going to get into a new type of therapy, which is fine because DBT therapy is actually recommended for people with borderline personality disorder. I don't really know anything about EMDR, and I know that's more for like PTSD and depression and things of that nature. I don't know if it's recommended for BPD. Then again, we also learned that Miss Reed over here loves to take online quizzes, and that's how she sort of diagnoses herself or shows how she thinks she has something or doesn't have something, which, all right, it can be something that you use. It can be a helpful tool to get you to see someone who is qualified to give you a diagnosis. So if you think you're having symptoms of a disorder or a physical issue, maybe you can take sort of like a questionnaire online and have that be a segue into getting a diagnosis or saying like, I did this and I think I might fit the criteria. I've done that before, and I went to a professional to get an actual diagnosis. I took something that was suggested online on like a reputable site, not like amigay.com. Even though I guess that has a pretty high success rate of completely just having people's numbers. But you can use them as tools, and I have, and you go to a professional and you say, I think I may be fitting the criteria for this disorder. That way, your professional who is in the field and knows the differential diagnoses and knows, how different things present can rule out or rule in certain things, and you can have an actual verifiable diagnosis. Anyways, I guess the stream, from the clip that Salty played, it was like a foodie beauty stream. It really was. Like, that was just her raging at her audience, except for like the three people who were kissing her ass. Also, Salty, big shout out. Love your channel. Huge fan. Anyways, let's get into this because I'm sure this is going to be filled with absolute nonsense and excuses, because what is Amberlynn without an excuse?
Hello, welcome to a new vlog. So today is March.
Whoop. Hold on one second, y'all. You know how it be over here in Finnyland.
March 4th, and we're gonna start this vlog with an Amazon haul. So first things first, I got this really cool purse. So in the light, it actually changes color. So if like your phone has a flash on it, or like especially like in the sunlight, etc., I will post a picture here. It is genuinely so neat looking. So I haven't even opened it yet. I did like take all of these things out of like the Amazon packages just so it's easier. So it does come with a long strap, which I love. So this brand is Love Book, and I am telling you, literally there's purses of every size, backpacks of every size, there's wallets. So now,
girl, don't you have enough purses? Like, I mean this genuinely. She has so many purses, and this comes from someone who used to like collect Vera Wang purses. I have so many of them. And I like use a tote that I got from working on Cult of the Lamb with the Devolver. I literally just use that all the time. But she literally has a purse, a telephone purse or whatever, behind her that she uses as decor for her backdrop. So why another one?
I'm just going to see how long the strap is for our bigger bodies, because I'm sure some of you know that like depending on like what size you are, some purses just don't feel right. All right, let me move you guys down so you can see here. And it actually fits perfectly. Obviously I have to take off the little tags and such. You can kind of see it actually just in my kitchen light. And then the next thing I got is my favorite mascara currently, which is the Surreal by Maybelline New York, the Falsies in the Blackest Black. Oh, bless you. Also, I needed more eyeliner, and this is the one that I always use. A lot of people ask. It's the e.l.f. Eyeliner Liquid Expert.
She has been with that liquid eyeliner since day one. And you know what? I can't really blame her. I use some e.l.f. products, and I've used that liquid liner before, especially when I was like cosplaying and whatnot. And I don't really use the little wand attachment. I think it's too thick, but I had precision brushes. Honestly, it is a really good, not mascara, a good eyeliner, and it is drugstore, so it is accessible to pretty much everyone, and I love that.
In the color Jet Black. So I needed a bookmark because I don't have any. So I got this one. I thought it was so cute. It says "fuck off, I'm reading," and it's just this metal bookmark. There's a cutout heart and then a little like dingly heart on it. Last but not least, I needed a new makeup bag because I just get really bored and tired.
Girl, did you not just, oh my god, I thought, did she just get that when she went to, like, she got like a new makeup bag or whatever, or a hygiene bag, or yeah, it's when she went to Wisconsin to visit Emily. Like, why?
Of the one that I use every single day. So this is what the inside looks like. I like this one because there's actually like sections in it, and I've been really wanting one like that. So super cute. I wanted the white one, but it was all sold out, which I know is probably weird to hear me say because I wear black all the time, but the white one is also super adorable. So this is how hectic my makeup bag is right now. So I'm about to organize my new.
Girl, that looks better than mine. Honestly, I don't even I like don't have a makeup bag right now. I mean, I do technically have one, but I do not use it because maybe it's like the ADHD brain, but my chaotic mess of a makeup bag, it makes sense to me. It's not even a makeup bag. It's like this little brush holder that zips up, kind of like it folds and zips. I just shoved everything in there, and it just makes sense in my brain. I know that everything is in that one thing that I'm gonna need, and it's also very convenient because I can carry it around. Like, I can just throw it in a bag. I don't have to worry about bringing an entire separate bag. It's much more convenient.
All right, so we have my makeup bag organized. Here we have all my like glitter stuff, eyelid, eyelash, eyebrow stuff. Besides, my mascara is here. This is just like,
what? She only has like 3 brushes? Oh my god. I can never. I have like 15 just for my eyes.
Like face stuff like blush, foundation, primer, etc. Here are all my eyeliners, and when it comes to the colorful eyeliners, I recommend NYX. NYX has the very best. Lipsticks are here, and then here we just have like a random nail polish that I have, and then my diamonds and my diamond glue is down here. So now everything is more organized. You guys, it is so windy here in Oklahoma right now, like it's bad, and I hope it doesn't mess with my power because I have my live stream today. So fingers are crossed that everything goes good. I want to talk more. It's our little BPD segment of my vlogs. So on top of doing EMDR therapy for it, I also am doing workbooks that was recommended to me. And in my last vlog, I talked about the 9 criterias that are part of the BPD diagnosis and how you have to meet at least 5 of them. So within the 9, each one has its own like clusters and multitudes of symptoms and traits and characteristics. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to give you guys an example slash symptom or a thing that I deal with within each one of those things.
Girl, goodbye. I am so sick of this nonsense being like, I am all of them. I am literally every single BPD thing that you could be. I fit into all 9 criteria and they're all extreme. Like, girl, bye.
Because as you guys know, I suffer with all 9 out of the 9 listed in criteria.
No, you don't!
Unfortunate, and it's hard to handle. So for each one, I do have a multitude of symptoms, and I'm not going to sit here and name off every single one. Like, that is so much information, and also it's a lot of things that I'm embarrassed about. It's a lot of things that I am ashamed about. I'm not ashamed of the BPD diagnosis, but I am ashamed of some of the things that I do and have done. So number 1 is frantic efforts to avoid real or imagined abandonment. So something I do with that, when I'm in a long distance relationship and I'm having an argument with my partner and they like hang up on me or they're ignoring my calls, I will literally frantically call them at least like 30 times in hopes that they...
That's crazy. Like, I mean, and I don't mean that in like, oh, that's crazy, a derogatory term for being mentally ill. I mean, like, the situation is crazy to think about because I've been there where someone has called me 30 plus times in the span of a half an hour because I didn't pick up. I was like 17 years old and this was my like first boyfriend ever. And I was in the library after school because I was still in high school and I couldn't use my phone. And then finally, when I left because it was time for practice, because I was a synchronized swimmer and a competitive swimmer, little lore there, it was synchro that I was in at this time. And I looked at my phone and it said 25 missed calls. And I was like, oh my God, because I was only in the library for a half an hour. He called me almost once a minute. Not my husband texting me to tell me about his bowling. I'm so sorry. Hold on. I'm so sorry. I'm the best YouTuber out there, okay? Only quality content coming from me. By the way, I did get suggestions from one of my very like long-term subscribers that I should get a camera and do like actual video of my face, and that is a great suggestion. I will ask my husband to set up something for me because he's the person who does all the electronic stuff around here, not me. I mean, I'm literate, but he's like got a degree in it, so I'm gonna make him do the work. Anyways, let's get back into Amber talking about how much BPD she has.
Answer me. The best way I can describe it is like it's this fire burning like urgency that I literally cannot control. Like I get super anxious and I'm scared. I feel like they hate me. They're never gonna talk to me again. So I just frantically call, text, and I genuinely look insane when I do it. So number 2 is a pattern of unstable and intense interpersonal relationships characterized by alternating between extremes of idealization and devaluation. So this is something that you guys have actually noticed that I do, is I will be in a relationship with someone and I'll come on here and I'll be like, they're so perfect. I have never loved someone as much as I love this person. Like this is the best relationship I've ever been in. That's me idolizing them. But if they do one small thing that makes me question if they love me or makes me question their loyalty to me or if I can trust them or whatever it may be, instantly those feelings go away. And I think, oh my God, like they hate me. So I really truly hate them in this moment. Everything is bad. And like all of the good just like completely vanishes. So that is what people.
Yeah. I think she does this sometimes. I don't think she did it with Crystal. I mean, like, I think she liked being with Crystal because she got money from Crystal's parents. And she had a stable environment to live in, and she really didn't have to do anything. Oh, feeder time. Oh no, that was very on the nose. Not you, Amber. The feeder time is not for you. It's for my cat. So she didn't really. Okay, I don't think she idolized Casey like ever. all she did was devalue him. Crystal, I think she just liked really being with the family because she didn't have to do anything and she got paid not to do anything. Destiny, yes, she idolized. Absolutely 110%. She put Destiny on a pedestal. But I think that's because Destiny was her first actual serious relationship that felt more quote unquote adult than the others, because the others she was a like older teen, early 20s maybe with Casey. She was in her early 20s with Crystal, and then she was in her mid 20s with Destiny. So when you're that age, it's a little bit different when you get into a relationship and you feel like, oh, this is this person, I love them, whatever. Like, I know that's kind of how I was in my like early to mid 20s. It was like, oh, this person is great, and you ignored any flaw in them until like your eyes were open. But I mean, she then obviously had a falling out with Destiny. But that falling out didn't happen until much later. So, and I think that was because she could no longer control Destiny because she didn't have the ability, or like Destiny didn't need her to give money anymore. So she was like, all right, bye. Then with Beck, she absolutely did not idolize Beck. No way. You know, maybe at first just so she could get her audience to be like, look it, I have a new girlfriend. Oh my God. But she did not idolize Beck. And she absolutely devalued Beck. Jade, yeah, maybe. I think she did, but that was in sort of a like teasing her audience, being like, ooh, you'll never see this person way. And then when they broke up, I mean, yeah, sure, there was some devaluation. I don't know. And then Erica, we're going to skip because that's not a real relationship. And Emily, yes, she idolized Emily, but that was also because she is oppositional. So her audience said, oh my gosh, we're so scared for you. This person is a feeder. They're known to be a feeder. They make this content. Their ex died because of, you know, complications from their weight. And she was literally, for no pun intended, feeding into her disability and her disorder. And Amber was just like, well, she's the best thing that ever happened to me, so shut the fuck up. Like, that's basically what it was. It wasn't because I don't think she actually held Emily super high up. I think she was doing it as a reactionary thing. So I don't really know if she idolizes and devalues, but she absolutely devalues, period.
All the black and white thinking. Number 3 is identity disturbance, which is markedly and persistently unstable self-image or sense of self. So something that you guys have actually noticed is I adopt people's personalities or behaviors or the way they speak, and it's something like I genuinely cannot control. Number 4, impulsivity.
So the like assimilation to personality, I don't think is that abnormal in certain contexts. I think she does it to an extreme, but I don't know if it's her losing sight of who she is rather than she wants to be like the best version of this sort of persona. So, you know, when she was with Destiny and Beck, she adopted the really weird southern accent that she kept putting on now and then and being like, you're a lie, like, which is not her accent. But I guess like something like that is an extreme, but picking up on accents and things or terms or even having a different persona is not terribly abnormal. That is sort of a human trait. It has to do with, like I said, assimilation to the group around you. It's sort of like an innate thing. You just adapt to where you are. But she does it to an extreme, so maybe. But I think she does know who she is deep down. I just don't think she wants to admit it.
In at least 2 areas that are potentially self-damaging, for example, spending, sex, substance abuse, reckless driving, binge eating, etc. So I actually never realized that the way that I eat and my eating issues could be due to having BPD, but it turns.
But like, if that's the only one, I'm pretty sure that it said you have to have 2. Like, you have to have 2 examples of that. You have to have 2 self-harming examples. So her binge eating, yes, absolutely, that is self-harm. That is, like, whether it is a conscious effort to be self-harm or it's something that she's doing that is a bad coping mechanism and is a comfort to her, but is in the end inevitably harming her, then yes, that is a form of self-harm. But there has to be another one. I'm pretty sure when I read the guidelines, it said that there have to be 2 like separate types of self-harm, and they cannot be overlapping with the 5th point, which I'm pretty sure the 5th point is like suicidal tendencies, suicidal ideation, attempts, threats, things like that. So it has to be 2 separate things. So reckless with money, sex, drugs, food, driving, any of those things, it has to be 2 or more examples.
So a variable could be. Number 5 is recurrent suicidal behavior, gestures, or threats, or
It's recurrent. Please read.
Mutilating behavior. So sometimes when I'm having like an actual full-fledged meltdown, I threaten suicide. I have suicidal ideation. I do want to make it very clear, I will never do something to harm myself.
So here's the thing. I'm going to discuss a little bit, and I know this is triggering content. So when it comes to threats of suicide when you are emotional, and it not being like, I feel so low, I feel like I'm never getting out of this hole, I feel like this moment in time is to the extreme, that it has gotten so bad that I have nowhere to go, I am at my lowest, I want to get out. Like that, I understand. She has done this as a manipulation tactic. She has told people, if you don't stay with me, I'm going to kill myself. And then comes on here and says, well, I would never actually do that. It is manipulation. That is a manipulation tactic. And it's gross and wrong. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it isn't, especially as a person who has had attempts and has passive ideation. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like that isn't a very gross manipulative thing to do, because that, again, Amber does a lot of things that do not help people who actually deal with them. That just feeds into this idea that saying that or doing that is a cry for attention rather than a cry for help. And so there's also passive ideation, and then there's, so passive ideation is kind of like passive suicidal ideation is like thoughts of suicide coming to you, but you're not going to act on them. And then you have like active threats of suicide, self-harm. And those are when there is a plan in place, there is talk about actually going through with it. So she has maybe passive ideation, which a lot of people with depression struggle with that, anxiety, PTSD, a lot of different mental disorders, people struggle with passive suicidal ideation. And it's just something you learn to cope with, but you're not going to act on it. And I think that's what she's saying, but I do not like the fact that she has come on here and said, I use threats, but I would never do that. Because she's also done this to her YouTube audience. I just realized that. She has also come on here and said, basically like baited her audience into thinking that she was going to self-harm. And this is like way back in the day. So she's been doing this for a minute. And basically made her audience very worried about her physical well-being. And then the next day she like came on and was like, just kidding. That's not okay.
in that moment, during that meltdown, more than anything else in the world, because of the pain that I feel, because when you do have BPD, like the pain that you feel is literally overbearing. But because of that pain, I genuinely do not want to be alive anymore in that moment. I have actually embarrassingly documented a moment of me having that before. It was during like 100 days of uploading. I think it was in like 2019 or 2020, a video of me expressing that I felt suicidal. I didn't say those words completely, but it was how I was feeling in the moment. You guys couldn't see that in the video, but I was hurting. I was hurting really bad. And a lot of people was calling me a liar, and in return, it was actually just making me feel worse. Like, this is hard for me to open up about, like extremely hard. And it's things that like I've always suffered with in private. I remember one of the first times I actually expressed out loud my suicidal ideation. I was 15 years old and I actually was sent to a mental hospital. But again, I would never in a million years do anything to hurt myself. It's just in those moments.
I understand, like, maybe saying, like, I just wish I wasn't here. I don't want to keep doing this. I'm so tired. I have definitely said those things, but there have been big differences in when I was saying things like, I'm tired. I don't think I can go on. I can't do this anymore. I just wish everything would end. And when I was actually planning, when I was actively in that mindset, there's a big difference in those two things, because one of them is me verbalizing my stress and anxiety and how I'm feeling in that moment. And the other one is planning and the actual threat of going through with what has been stated. So again, you can't really conflate the two because they are so vastly different.
Like during a meltdown, you hurt so bad that just seems like the best option. So it's a fleeting thought, and I don't want anyone to worry about me, please. Like, this is just another one of those symptoms that I suffer with. So number 6 is affective instability due to a marked reactivity of mood. So for example, intense episodic dysphoria, irritability, or anxiety usually lasting a few hours and only rarely more than a few days. So this is very much like my mood swings, where something so small could happen, but I feel so strongly about it. So a good example of that would be if I send a long, sweet message to my partner saying like, I love you, I've been thinking about you, I miss you, like I can't wait to talk to you again, just whatever it may be, and like all they send back in response is love you too, that triggers something inside of me so hardcore where I feel uncared for, I feel unloved, I feel unappreciated, and it absolutely like sends me into this like abandonment feeling, and I spiral. It leaves me anxious and worried, and sometimes it sends me into a meltdown, and sometimes like I'm genuinely just like frantically journaling about it. Number 7 is chronic feelings of emptiness. So that's pretty explanatory. Sometimes like I feel so lonely that I genuinely feel like I'm the last person on earth.
I didn't really comment on the 6th point because I don't think she quite understands that it is not just this one moment of being like, oh, I'm so nervous or I'm so anxious. It is a constant feeling. Like, really what it talks about in the DSM-5 is that it is close to what mania is. It's not a manic episode, but that would be a similar parallel. So I think sometimes I don't know if she really truly understands, and this is also why you need to see a professional, because I could be talking out of my ass right now, and I'm sure I am, but they may be able to gauge it better and say, well, that is probably a symptom of your anxiety over being abandoned, rather than this point in the criteria. So I just think it's so dumb for her to be looking at this and saying, oh, see, I am all of these, because we can have confirmation bias when it comes to things, because I can look at borderline and I can say, wow, I match up with a lot of these. But the thing is, I don't match up with enough, and I don't match up with frequency, and I don't match up with intensity. And these bullet points are also crossing over with different disorders that I actually do have. So if I see the whole thing about self-harm or suicidal ideation. I can say, wow, that is absolutely something I suffer with. But I also have depression and PTSD. So those two things also include those points. So I went to a professional, and especially over PTSD, because I was almost certain I had it because I was having a lot of the symptoms. But I went to a professional and I said, I think I have this. And so they did a screening for it. And sure enough, I did meet the criteria. But I didn't before when I had just depression. I had depression when I was like 16. And I had some of the some of the criteria that would fit into PTSD. But I didn't have PTSD because I didn't have a trauma. So there's a million different things, and this is why you need to go to a professional and not just look at these bullet points, because that's what I feel like she's doing. I feel like she went to a professional and said, yeah, I got diagnosed, but where did you get diagnosed? Chat BPD. Or you took an online quiz. So that's why when she's looking at these, she's saying she has all of them, and they're extreme, even though that might not be the truth.
So as I'm editing this, I'm realizing that I was way too vague with that answer. But for me, when I have chronic loneliness, which is quite frequently, it is heavy, it is painful, it sends me down major depressive episodes. Like, I can be in a room with 10 people and feel lonely. I can be in my room by myself and feel lonely. I could be hugging someone I love and feel lonely. It doesn't matter. Sometimes the loneliness, like, genuinely makes me feel like I am not loved by a single person on this planet, and I am not cared for by a single person on this planet. And it sends me down like a pretty bad depressive episode for sure. Number 8 is inappropriate intense anger or difficulty controlling anger. So for example, frequent displays of temper, constant anger, or reoccurrent physical fights. So for me, I'm not like a physically abusive person, but I have done some yelling. I'm not gonna lie about that. If I felt uncared for or like not seen or unheard, which is actually a BPD symptom, sometimes it genuinely can lead to like loud yelling with like hysterical crying. So the last one, which is number 9.
I do believe that, but I also believe that if she was physically capable, she would probably have whacked someone. And I'm pretty sure that it came out that she and Jade got physical. So I do believe this one. I believe she has this one.
Which is transient stress-related, paranoid ideation, or severe dissociative symptoms. So sometimes if...
Okay, Amber, vocab lesson. Recurrent, marked, and dissociative. Please, for the love of God, just learn some terms before you come on here flapping your gums.
Feel completely detached, like, from myself and from my memories. So that's why sometimes I can share something from like my childhood that genuinely hurt me, and I could seem like unbothered, or I could like nervously laugh about it, while other times I can share the exact same story and cry about it. So those are just some...
That's not... No. That's not what that means. That's not what that means, because that is something that people do with trauma, okay? That is a trauma response. I'm about to get into it a little bit. Okay, so with your brain, the thing is, your brain is a lot smarter than you think it is. So your brain goes, hey, we cannot handle this. We cannot handle these memories right now. So we gotta pack them up and put them away. So that's why sometimes with trauma, there's memory loss or there is an emotional disconnect. And that's why a lot of times you see with patients who have trauma, who have PTSD, who have, even if people who have DID, you see that they have locked away things. And whether that's compartmentalizing, like that's something that I do. That's something that I have done as a trauma response. So I compartmentalize. People with DID, they create an entire new alter. There is a whole different alternate person in their mind, and that comes out physically, that deals with the memories or different portions. I'm not going to get into DID because it is a very complex disorder and I would not do it justice. There's plenty of things to look up about it. It is still there's plenty of things to look up about it, but it's still a relatively unknown or unexplored topic. So I'm definitely not going to get into it. But when you compartmentalize, or if it's a different alter, whatever you have, at some point, your brain may come to a term where it says, you know what, we are able to handle this now. And that's why you unlock memories. That's why things come back to you. That's why sometimes you'll have a smell, a sight, a touch, something that triggers a flashback or triggers a memory. That's why they're called triggers. I'm sick of that word being used incorrectly, but that's why these things come back, is because something reminds your brain of it and it is opened up. So for me, a lot of times, and my friends have seen this, where we'll be discussing something, I'll be like, you know what? I just remembered that I went through this really crazy thing. And it's because of trauma. When they're talking about dissociation in this, they're not talking about you being disconnected from your emotions. They're talking about depersonalization and derealization. So it is a disconnect from you as a person and your surroundings. Now, this is also something that people with trauma deal with. And I have dealt with depersonalization and derealization, and they are frightening when you are not expecting them. And sometimes they come on and you don't even, you aren't expecting it. Actually, most of the times that you aren't expecting it, but I'm saying, like, some of the times you have been doing so well, you haven't had a dissociative episode, and suddenly it comes on, you're like, what the hell? But depersonalization is a disconnect from the self. So you may look at something. For me, my hands are a big trigger, so I don't really look at them that much. But it's when you look at something and you feel like, I'm not in the right body. I don't know who this is looking at me. I don't know whose hands these are. I don't know whose feet these are. I don't know whose legs these are. That is depersonalization. Derealization is almost like an out-of-body experience. It's like you are looking at yourself doing something. You don't feel like it's you. You feel like you're watching yourself do something. You feel like the place around you is not real. That is what they're talking about. They are not talking about a disconnect of emotions. They're talking about dissociation. And that is different. Your disassociation to emotions is not the same as dissociation.
Examples of like the multitude, and I'm telling you, a multitude of things that I deal with that I didn't share. So those are just like a few that I wanted to just like give you guys a little look into, because I'm telling you, this is a lot of information for me to absorb and for me to share. I'm a bit overwhelmed and I don't want to overwhelm anyone else. And I feel better sharing this part of me, because all of these issues that I've had for so long, I've been like, what is wrong with me? What is happening? Finally, there was a name to it, and I was ashamed. I was ashamed. And that's why I didn't tell you guys when I was first diagnosed, because I was like,
Jinxie's sharpening her claws. I'm sure you can hear her in the background. Yeah, you get it, Jinxie. Yeah, you. Anyway, so for this, I think there is a term for what you have, but I don't think that it is what you think it is. And I think if you really got diagnosed with something by a professional, you really wouldn't like what they had to say. I think if you were open and honest about everything with a professional, you would not like the diagnoses you got.
What are you joking me? And slowly I've realized there's nothing to be ashamed about. Like, yeah, I'm ashamed of some things I've done in the past, of course, and some things that I currently do. But like, I cannot show you guys that I'm improving unless I show you guys certain things that I have done and certain things that I do. You know, a year or two down the line, be like, you guys, remember when I told you I did A, B, and
C? You are not fully open and honest with your audience, Amber. So the fact that you come on here and you say, well, I can't show you improvement unless I show you what I've done and what I'm doing. Okay, you are never fully honest. You're not honest about a damn thing. So how are we supposed to see any sort of market improvement if you are either completely dishonest, or you are dishonest by withholding some truth? I mean, it like telling half-truths and or even coming on here and telling us blatant lies. that is not going to show us any sort of improvement. And people really were giving you the benefit of the doubt again, which I don't understand, but hey, you know, whatever. People were giving you the benefit of the doubt when you were doing some accountability, when you were taking ownership over some of the shit you did to Beck. But you doubled down with Casey, which was ridiculous and is a lie, and you came out and said that it was a lie. And I'm sorry I'm getting heated, but I am a victim of that, and I do not take it lightly when people make up false accusations. I don't take it lightly, and I don't think it's okay. And I think you doubling down on that when you have literally made a shit-ass video of a poem you wrote explaining that you did not use the correct term, that Rain and Petals Eavesdrop was the wrong word. Yeah, okay. It never happened to you, and for you to double down on that is disgusting. And so you did that recently, and then you came on to your members only live stream where people pay you to be, and you crashed out in front of them like a burning double-decker bus and absolutely showed that you have no remorse for what you've done and you do not care, and that your whole thing is to make yourself look like the victim and make yourself look better when you have really caused a lot of people a lot of trouble and have changed them for the rest of their lives because of how horrible you were. So honestly, we won't see an improvement. Maybe you'll show us things, but I will never accept it as an improvement, because even now, to this day, you're saying, look at how much I've improved. And there is nothing. You backtrack and there's nothing.
I haven't done A, B, and C in 6 months. So I know as I do more of this workbook, there's going to be a lot more topics of like more symptoms and more things like that. So I will share more of that when we get to those chapters. And I just want to say thank you guys for listening to me and for giving me a platform to share my story of having borderline personality disorder, because so many people do struggle. Hello. So the last time you guys saw me was actually on the 4th, and today is the 6th. So after the last clip that you guys saw, I had my live stream, my members only live stream, and it was very emotional. I actually had to take about a 6-minute break because I was getting so anxious. Like, I was crying. I was actually about to hyperventilate. Like, I was getting the full body tremors, which is something that happens when I am overly anxious and my adrenaline is like really high. It was genuinely pretty scary, actually. It was a much needed stream, and that's...
Oh my God. Everything is so scary to her. Oh my God. Everything is such a fright. Amber, if you have these tremors and whatnot, which I understand, sometimes when you get really anxious, you start to tremble because your adrenaline is up. But you would be used to it and be like, oh shit, I got the shakes. Like, when I get nervous, I get it. My hands get real shaky. My whole body feels like it is just shimmying, and I don't have any frills on to shimmy. What? Oh, now the choir comes in. All right. Jinxie, this ain't a Greek tragedy. I mean, my life kind of is, but I don't need the choir. Thank you. She's going to yell. But I think she always does that. Oh, I'm so scared. I'm so nervous. Okay, sure.
I'm pretty sure today I am going live publicly. But before I get into that, someone mentioned in my live stream that they don't like when I put clips from the members live stream and my vlogs because it's meant for them, and so I want to listen to their wants and needs, and they're correct. It's weird to use my right hand.
Girl, like, the thing is, people knew that already. They were like, that's weird that you're doing this. I knew why she was doing it. It wasn't because, oh, I want to give like a preview of what's to come. No, she was doing it because she needed the views. And she needed people to come on and be like, ooh, let me see if she puts something interesting in here. And it never is. It's all these disjointed bits and pieces and just nonsense.
I don't know why I switched that. But so I will no longer be putting clips from my members' live streams in my videos. So if you guys just want to be a part of that.
Oh, how tragic.
From how I'm feeling today, and especially like the last couple of days, I think I'm going to start being more open for sure with just everything in my life. Today is supposed to be Thursday Weight Watchers weigh-in, but I have been so separated and detached from just life that I actually have not even been tracking on Weight Watchers.
There it is. What did I say? Oh my god. Literally, she started Weight Watchers and already is fumbling. Jesus Christ.
No, I should be, but I just haven't been. Doesn't mean I'm giving up or anything like that, so don't worry. I don't know, I've just been really out of it, actually. Sorry, the lighting in here is actually pretty dark because just last night, my light bulb went out, and I already contacted maintenance because when these lights go out, they don't want you to change them. They want you to contact them so they can do it for you, which is pretty cool, I would say. So anyways, yes, I am going live publicly tonight, and I am extremely nervous about it because I know it's gonna be so many people at one time like coming at me. Not saying like everyone is going to be coming at me in a negative way, but whether it's negative, positive, whatever it may be, it's just going to be a lot at once, and I am nervous for that, but I think I'm going to be able to handle it. I just really want to talk about things that I've never allowed myself to talk about, and that's what I mean when I...
Oh, shut up. Honestly, be quiet. Be quiet. Like, Amber, you are so... I don't even have words sometimes, and that's, that's crazy because I'm talkative. When you get me going, as you can see by all of my videos, they're so fucking long. But Amber, please, this live stream, the one she's discussing and this most recent one are just her spiraling and then having a total spin out on the freeway.
Like, I'm breaking my silence. Will I regret this? I don't know. Do I need to do it for my own peace of mind? Yes. Hello. So today is March 7th. I did not vlog anything else yesterday because I did a 3-hour live stream. It was a 3-hour live stream that was pretty intense, but I don't really want to talk about it in my vlog right now. I kind of just want to like have a good day. My mom called me last night and she was like, do you want to go to bingo? So I'm gonna go to bingo with her and obviously her fiance and also a friend of hers. So I'm excited for that. So if anyone's curious, the perfume that I'm wearing today, which I like have no more, I want to buy a full size of this because honestly, I love it so much. It's called Another
Eric voice. No one cares. Honestly, who cares? Oh my god.
I literally love it, but I'm gonna be getting rid of this perfume right here. This is actually a Shakira perfume, and I genuinely dislike it so much. And I low-key am not really a fan of Your Turn by Billie Eilish, and I'm also not a fan of Eilish 3, but I am gonna keep these just because I like how they look. I think they're cute. But this, the bottle's ugly, the smell's ugly. I think I'm done buying perfume without smelling it first. All right, you guys, so I have been back from the good old bingo for a few hours now. I did not win. My stepdad did. I'm telling you, he has like the most luck at bingo. But that clip you guys just saw of me throwing away a bingo sheet was all of us trying to win $1,000. And we didn't, but someone else did. And I always believe that like when someone else wins, like especially like a really big chunk of money like that, then they are the ones. They are the chosen ones. Like the universe is like, they need this. They deserve this.
Okay. Maybe you have to say spiritual Lynn.
All right, you guys, so I have...
Her camera said, that's enough of that. That's enough. We're done. Bye.
Giving you an update in a few days on my build. I am on step 285 out of 584, and this is how it is looking so far. It is massive. I was not expecting it to be so huge, but yeah, it's like literally gigantic. So I have 2 chairs in here, and we're doing some outside exterior. All right, you guys, so I just edited this video, saw that I did not have an outro, so I'm here to say goodbye. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in my next one.
I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy anything because I never enjoy these videos. But for some reason I'm here. Perhaps I'm a bit of a masochist. Oh well, I think it's just because I have many, many thoughts on her and the shit that she spreads. Oh god, get a washcloth. So that's it for this video. Like I say, another one for the books, I guess. And she really pissed me off, this one. I think coming off of watching what she has said in her live streams, I watched Karina Kaboom and I watched Salty Crab, and I saw some of the posts from like Karina and Mr. Snowflake, and I saw that Beck briefly responded in a community post basically being like, in more words and more eloquently, Amber is fucking ridiculous, and she's just too much, period. And that the claims that she made about Beck's partner were false and defamatory in nature. Anyway, I, love seeing her crashing out like this. It is just so enjoyable. And by enjoyable, I mean she really is a train wreck. Like, I cannot look away as much as I would like to. It's always like, what's going to happen next with her? I sort of feel that way about Foodie Beauty sometimes. It's like, what's going to happen next? What's the next arc going to be? And I think that's sort of sad because her her whole persona, a couple of these others in Girl World, it's like, what's the next disaster gonna be with them? Anyway, that's it for me, and I will try and get a webcam or a camera or whatever um, to start doing these as not just voiceovers but with an actual camera on. I know my phone recorder actually does have it available, but I think having an actual microphone and whatnot, because my husband does have an actual setup. So I think I might try and do that in the near future. But that's it for me for this one, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye!